Hello, my name is Luke Van Hulst. I am in Law 2150 at Appalachian State University. Today is December 2nd, 2014, and I will be presenting on gender equality, equal pay for equal work. Now, equality in the workplace. Women and men should be making the same wage for the same work. It's a pretty simple concept. And why is the pay gap important? It is reported that women make 77 cents to every dollar a man makes in the general workforce. President Obama used this statistic to take a stand and fight for equal pay with legal action. And feminist groups have been fighting for equal pay since women joined the workforce. And what has the government done about this? There are many state laws and statutes in place, but today I'll be focusing on three major bills that have been passed in Congress, which are the Equal Pay Act of 1963, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act of 2009. Now, the Equal Pay Act of 1963 was the first piece of legislation denouncing workplace pay discrimination, and it prohibits sex-based wage discrimination between men and women in the same establishment who perform jobs that require substantially equal skill, effort, and responsibility under similar working conditions. In Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VII prohibits employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. This did not, however, allow compensatory or punitive damages to be recovered by the employees that were discriminated against. Now, the most recent legislation put in place by Congress is the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act of 2009. It was one of Obama's biggest platforms when running for office in 2008. It was also the first act he signed in office. And this act made it easier for employees who were discriminated against to recover lost wages. And unlike Title VII, employees can recover compensatory and punitive damages. And Lilly Ledbetter was a lady who worked for Goodyear Tire Company and found out she was making significantly less than her male counterparts. And obviously she was upset about this, so she ended up taking it to the Supreme Court, and they ruled she had to have reported it within 180 days of her discriminatory paycheck. And the problem with this is she didn't know about it for many years. And Obama found this ruling to be unfair, so he overrode it and came up with the Lilly Ledbetter Act decision, and now you are allowed to recover damages that are outside of the first 180 days of your discriminatory paycheck. Trending issues. Right now, Congress is working on a bill called the Paycheck Fairness Act. It was introduced January 23rd, 2013, and it requires employers to justify pay discrepancies, and it prohibits employers from retaliating against employees who disclose their own wages or ask about the other workers. And the Paycheck Fairness Act has not yet passed in Congress. And similar bills have been proposed since as early as 1997, but none of them have ever passed. And if it is passed, these employees will also be able to recover compensatory and punitive damages like the Lilly Ledbetter Act. On the other side of things, the question rises, is there really a pay gap? The counter-argument claim that the 77% statistic is actually misleading. Dr. Warren Farrell states that the pay difference is not from discrimination itself, but rather choice of careers. And they're stating that the 77% statistic doesn't reflect equal work. The statistic itself actually refers to different jobs, and men typically work more dangerous jobs than women do. And Dr. Warren Farrell has been the author of several books explaining why the difference in pay is the way it is. In his book, Why Men Earn More, Dr. Farrell states that life values of different genders factor into trade-offs, which in turn affect the job you choose and the salary you receive. And some of these trade-offs for women include time with family, ability to raise kids, and your proximity to home, and the safety of your job. And typically for men, these things don't factor in as much when they pick their career. They tend to go to where the money is. Now, in my opinion, I believe that equal pay for equal work is fair, but I do not agree with how the statistics are laid out. I understand that Dr. Farrell's idea that the pay gap is almost voluntary because of the career paths different genders take. However, I believe there is still discrimination. I know the government is making strides towards equality, but I believe the statistics they are banking on are skewed. Now, the 77% statistic is, in my opinion, taken out of context. This is where Dr. Farrell shines. The pay gap is there, but the 77% statistic is referring to salary difference overall, not the difference for equal work done by different genders. After all of my research, I have further understanding of how the government can be beneficial in business problems such as the gender pay gap. I also understand that one of the worst things you can do for your business is discriminate against any of your employees. Not only is it horribly immoral, but it will destroy your company with huge lawsuits, and people won't want to do business with you. I believe that with the research I have done, I can infer that no matter what laws are in place, there will unfortunately still be discrimination. However, the laws do not help control it, they do help control it while offering recoverable damages for the discriminated employees.